Action activate.
It's me, Gazbot, for Action Activate. And if I'm Gazbot and this is Action Activate, then with me, as always, is this gentleman.
Is the big dog. We are both mystic dogs and men for real this time.
For real. I guess I'm a mystic bot. I misspoke.
Two times in a row. But what are you going to do?
Yeah. I am in a bad position to review this. This has happened to me before. I don't know if this is the same for you. Last week, we were going to review this. I watched it. I did not take notes because I'm like, I just watched it. I know everything I'm going to say. And then we didn't review the episode, and we pushed it off to this week. So I watched this a week ago, and I have a terrible memory, and I don't even remember what happens.
During the intro, I went like this through the video to see little thumbnail snippets to remind myself.
Great. I'm sure once we get into it, I'll remember some of the things I wanted to say, but why don't you lead off? Because I literally don't remember.
So general thoughts, I thought it was all right. To be honest, like, going back to Mystic Force after reviewing anything else has been difficult for this season for me, just because almost everything else we reviewed I've liked better, if not definitely better. Like Rail Riders, going from the finale of Rail Riders to this, I'm like, oh.
Finale of anything is tough. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But for this, I was just reminded of some of the grievances I have this season of like, everybody's so mean to the evil daughter.
You're right.
Whose name we keep forgetting.
Yes. No, I agree. That is something that they were just like, it seemed like they're going out of their way to be mean. And then the Red Ranger especially, and then the other Rangers are kind of like, hey, you think you're being too hard on her? He's like, no, I'm not. And they're like, okay. It's like, oh,
and they're even like, maybe they are. I don't know. Like, no, everybody keeps questioning if they're too mean, but not doing anything to be less mean.
Yeah, it's weird.
Also, like for Power Rangers, as we see this thumbnail, like I don't know if it's the same for you. Anytime we see a Zord battle, immediately I'm like, oh, something not fun is happening this episode.
Oh, this is okay, but this is actually previously on because they put this scale into is not Korag. What's good Korag? Leanbow. They put that to track him essentially. So this is actually where it picks up, is by the little lake where they got overpowered. And then I thought
there was also, I just got the Henry Danger one too. I thought there was a Zord battle immediately after this. Am I wrong?
No, I would trust you over me. I just said how I barely.
Well, we're about to find out, but I do remember in the beginning, what's her name? Who Matt's screaming at us in the comments why we don't remember her name, is just being bullied. I'm going to just straight up. No.
Oh, yes.
What's her name is just getting bullied by the Mystic Force
Vampire
Rangers.
Princess, essentially.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't want to be mean. They're like, it's in your blood. And it's like, oh, all right. If we're going that logic, then Nick, you're terrible. Like,
I think it's okay that her mother and the other monsters are not nice to her. I think it's weird that the humans, specifically the Power Rangers, which are supposed to be like the best of us, are so consistently mean to her when she's already demonstrated, like, she's not doing anything. She's kind of helpful. And like, is this all just a big plot? Shouldn't you give her a chance? Whatever. But I do like later on when she teams up with Phineas and is like, she's like, I don't really fit into either world. She's like, oh yeah, I know what that's like. Me too. You know? And so like, I wish the Rangers weren't so mean to her, but I like that they're setting her up as like, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do and kind of be good, even if I'm not super nice. And like, yeah.
We're jumping around a little bit, but that end of the episode was one of my favorite parts. That's what I'm looking forward to most next, is seeing the two of them team up, not necessarily the Rangers.
Agreed.
We see the weird little toad monster guy gets to go.
He gets chosen for the week, which is funny because like we've seen him fight before, but like unofficially, illegally, whatever, according to the rules. And now we're back in the shop where too many people work at the same time. And what's the boss's name? Toby.
Toby's working out. That's why.
Yeah. But it's also a thing where like, I get that he's comic relief and like everything he does. But this is an example of everything he does is funny because it's supposed to be. Because he's like actually in pretty good shape, and he's like doing some exercises, and he's like, "Oh, I feel good," and they're like, and like, I don't know why that's funny. Like he's a guy that's in decent shape, trying to keep fit, feeling good about himself. And again, maybe I'm just always looking at it like the early years of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers where like fitness is important and supporting people is important. But it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like funny. Except
this season feels very cynical. Like the Ranger team feels very cynical, and really like yellow and blue are like the only ones who are like, come on guys, let's be positive. Whereas like everybody else is like, Xander is notoriously lazy. Nick's mean a lot. Pink is angsty, and like that's her key personality trait. Like,
which is why
I don't love this team.
Which is why Chip, yellow is Chip, is my favorite.
Thank you.
Nick is his real life name, I think, is what it is.
Okay. But yeah, like Daggeron is probably my favorite Ranger by default.
Cool. Yeah. You know what? That Daggeron is probably the best Ranger, but I just like Chip better.
No, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, we've had a lot of debate between you and I, and in the comments to an extent, of like where I rank this season. I still am firmly bottom half, maybe even bottom third at this point of all Ranger seasons.
It's definitely not top half. I still feel like it's middle for me, but I'd have to like sit down and really look at it. Because there's good and bad things. That's the thing. It's not an easy ranking for me. Because speaking of good and bad things, like here's Genji, who I like and wish he was in it more. He's very fun.
Yeah.
But then there's Fireheart. I forget. It's weird that they're feeding Fireheart. Like they made such a big point of that early on, and then because he was like a little pet that grew into a dragon that was burning people by accident, and then he kind of just turned into a Zord power up. But now they're like, oh yeah, he's still like a living thing. Like, oh okay, but it's weird. It's like, I guess it's magic and it's Power Rangers, but I for a while I was thinking of him as a pet, and then I started thinking of him as a power up, and I'm like, I guess he's still a pet. Like I don't know. It's weird.
It's like what they did with Rick and SPD, but having to feed him.
Yeah.
Claire needs more screen time, like, and not nerfed for no reason in the story.
I would like Claire to be powerful and still goofy. You know what I mean? She's not perfect. She doesn't get everything right, but she's got some good like who's that character in Dragon Ball better than me? Goku's son.
Gohan or Goten?
Gohan. Like him. Like he's like powerful, maybe more powerful than Goku, but he's like a goofball and he's kind of dorky, but not like he can't do anything. He's like, I like books and oops, but like when push comes to shove, he could fight. And I feel like that's what she should be.
Yeah, I feel like she suffers from the writing of everybody being like, it's similar to how we felt about Ben and Betty, but they established her as more confident, but then every once in a while they're just like, oh, here's you being goofy again, and you're like, don't do that.
Yeah, like there's a little bit of character development, and then the writers of the next few episodes didn't watch that episode or something,
or care,
or agree with it. Maybe who knows. So they have Udana captured, and he's like, "Look, I've got her." That's good. I do like these sets. That's like a cool, glowing.
Well, because they're supposed to be enormous right now.
Yes, yeah, and that's her in that little teeny thing up there.
These monsters, which is good use of Sentai footage, by the way.
Yeah, the monsters and the sets and everything from Sentai are really cool. I will say the set for the record store is cool too. I'd love to hang out in that place. Like even now, it looks fun. I just don't understand its business.
Every time they're in the record store, I kind of do that countdown of how long until they leave.
Yeah,
every time.
It is. They always outnumber the customers too.
Yeah, like I want there to be. It's too late in the season now, but a plot point of like, one or two of them have to stay in the store for a reason, and then everybody else does other stuff. And maybe this happened in an episode and I forgot, but like I don't remember it if it did.
I don't remember that happening. I've probably said this before, but there's the theory at Mighty Morphin that Ernie from the Juice Bar knew they were the Rangers.
Yeah.
I want that to be Toby. I want Toby to know they're the Rangers, because otherwise it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like he's a nice guy, but like every time they leave, now he's got to run the whole store by himself, which proves that one person could run a store that he has 5 people at, and he hired the other girl. I will love it if at the end they reveal he knew. That would just be amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
I really wish I remember. I'm gonna look her name up because it's gonna bug me, and I'm sure it'll make Matt feel better.
Oh, here we go.
Mystic Force.
Get back up here. Don't give me a copyright strike.
So now we get to see
the vampire princess girl.
Yeah.
Oh, this was weird when he did the poisonous tadpoles. Like, and I know this is Sentai footage, but it's like it's weird and creepy, and it looked like little like fetus things in the sky. I'm trying to get a shot of it so you can see it. Soon my poisonous tadpoles will rain down and rule the surface. Although I remember there was the other monster that did a similar thing with snakes, like something about like shooting them up into the sky and coming back down. It's like it's just weird.
But all the monster motifs in that are interesting. I do love a nighttime Zord fight, which I feel like we rarely get. It is weird when it's daytime and then it's nighttime for the Zord fight, but whatever.
I don't care about that even a little bit.
Lily is who we keep talking about.
Lily, okay.
Yeah.
I like also with Daggeron, I feel like there's like different suits, like the hero suit or whatever, and one of them, which is probably the hero suit, has like outlines with like super reflective, almost like what you buy at a craft store, like. But it just because he's the Solaris Knight, like I really like it. I don't know, it's something charming about it to me.
Yeah. I still, when I see this, I don't love their base Megazord aesthetically.
No, me either. We may have talked about this, but it's supposed to be like a wizard hat, I guess. I don't like it either.
Yeah.
I like the Solaris Megazord better.
Yeah.
And I forget what their I can't remember what their next upgrade one looks
like.
The
lion one.
Oh yeah, the lion one. I do like that one. Yeah, that actually.
Do you like it enough that you got it at one point?
Manticore Megazord. Well, no. I'm in the process of reevaluating, culling, curating my Power Ranger collection. Big Dog knows. I have all this behind me, but I've got 3 boxes that are not on display, and I'm not going to be able to display them. So, but one of the ones is the Manticore Megazord, the vintage one. In the box. It's been open, but it's in the box that I got at a toy show years ago. Before I'd ever watched Mystic Force, because I was just buying Zords that looked cool, and it has a great gimmick where like it drives through the Phoenix and pops up and auto transforms, and it's great. But on the shelf, it's huge and takes up a lot of space, and it's a little short and squat. And watching Mystic Force, it's not my favorite season. I do like the way that Zord looks, and as a matter of fact, what I even thought to myself was like, if they came out with like a Sola Chogokin or other version of this Zord,
or a tiny one,
or something better proportioned, that I would want that because I do think it's a cool design. But this is a perfect example of a toy that is a great toy, but not a great shelf piece for me. Other people would disagree. If Mystic Force was my favorite season, or I had just Power Rangers or just Zords, I would absolutely keep it. And a lot of the ones I'm getting rid of, I was saying this. Let me get myself. So you see me better. I was saying this to Tech Advisor Azuki the other day. I was watching a display. Someone had a bunch of G.I. Joes set up, and I've watched, and I'm like, everyone that has a really good display either has a mansion or a huge basement or something, but more often than not, they collect like one thing. Like Bruno from MMPR Toys. His collection is amazing, but it's basically just Power Rangers. And that's my problem and your problem too, is like, oh, well, that's Power Rangers, Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe, Godzilla, Silverhawks, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, and like, do I want to get rid of all of them and just have 1 or 2? No. So the choice I make is having an imperfect collection of a lot of different things. And because of that, I now have to get rid of ones that I otherwise wouldn't get rid of.
Yeah. But I can tell you, without consulting with Gaz beforehand, he is not getting rid of his Jungle Fury Megazord.
That's correct. And actually, that's on the shelf right now. I don't know if you can see it. It's up there. That's mostly Lightning Collection, but that's one that I pulled out of the box immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I have mine as well. Up top, I have my little Zord display up here, and I tried to do a purge like you the other day. It didn't go well. I think I got rid of a thing, so I need to just put risers so I can see them better, and that'll solve my problem.
Well, I packaged up 1 box to sell, and I need to do it again when I find my other box. But that's not what this episode's about. This episode,
not. If you want us to talk toys, let us know, because a lot of times people don't. But we're here to talk about Mystic Force. So
this is the battle with the main monster here.
It was fine,
and it's fine. They're doing pretty good. I was thinking, and then the battle's fine. That's going on, but then we cut back to Lily, and this is where she's like, I don't know if I want to do this. What am I doing here? And they're talking about using her and making her the queen. Oh, sorry. They're talking about. I'm mixing things up. Lily is back there, but they're talking about using Udana as like leverage in some sort and things like that.
And then we're reminded that they're enormous and
Necroli is not.
Yeah, Necroli and Lily aren't. And then she's like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Like, I don't really want to be evil. And she's like, you're nothing to me, and you either have to be evil or get out of here. I don't care if you are
Can we just
destroyed.
hang out? Oh, and she's like, you're polluted by the humans, and this is where she's like, yeah, they think I'm too good, and the humans think I'm too bad. What am I gonna do? I need to find a gross guy in the forest that has a heart of gold. Yep,
sludgy gold, but gold nonetheless.
Yes,
this is another one where I'm like, stop with these dumb games.
I mean, I agree, but I do allow that is the theme. They all have to play games, and they're ruled by rules, and I don't like it.
But they're not, because they've had 3 or 4 plot points of them cheating.
Yes, but they're like gamblers or something, where they're gonna cheat, but I don't know. So he's like, fight these foot soldiers until the time runs out, and they're winning. And oh man, with the
Henry Danger's coming back for a movie or something.
I mean, it looks like a cool concept, but I'm not really interested in the commercial right now.
Yeah. It's another one of those things where I liked this fight. I liked the organic escalation of it.
I agree with that.
I forgot what these foot soldiers are called, and I feel like we haven't seen them in a while.
I agree with both of those things. They are cool looking, though. And what I liked is we saw them use some of their special powers, which we haven't seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this now. They have the countdown clock, and during the battle, it's like as part of the soundtrack. And at first, I was like, "Oh, that's really cool the way they're doing that." But as the fight lingered on, I was like, I'm kind of tired of this now. Like, I wish it drifted in and out or just came in at the end or something, because I liked the idea, but by the end of the fight, I was like, oh, I'm so sick of hearing that tick, tick, tick.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if any of you guys watch the show 24, but they do it right before a commercial and right after a commercial. If that played the entire show, it would get old.
That is good. I did a movie that never came out. I have a few little minor acting credits of nothing, but I had a small part with the actress that played his daughter. What was her name?
Kim, I think Kim was either his wife or his daughter. I forget the character.
It was the daughter. The actress that played his daughter was the lead in this.
Yeah, she's from Girl Next Door and Old School and some other stuff.
Whatever. Anyway, she was the lead at the time. Being his daughter in 24 is the biggest thing she had ever done, and she was the lead in this like coming of age 80s vintage New Jersey romantic comedy something. And I lived in New Jersey, and I had friends that were involved in show business in New Jersey, and I was willing to wear a Speedo, so I was groovy Speedo guy. And at some point, she's on the beach and gets knocked over, and I never got to see the whole script. I only knew my lines, and she comes up and I'm like, hey, little darling, the waves are Mother Nature. It's like 2 lines about like Mother Nature kicking her on her butt or something like that. I'm doing like crappy Tai Chi. But anyway, that movie got filmed and shown at a film festival, and then otherwise never came out. But I had a scene with the girl from 24. This is where that was going.
Nice. At a beach, no less.
At a beach, yes. In a Speedo.
Yeah.
So they're winning, but then the guy's like, I'm going to cheat. And he's like, all right, well, then here comes my cheat, which is, the power up of the dragon, who's also a pet. And then he just starts wrecking everybody.
Yeah.
I do like that.
The cool. Batons are growing on me. I'm a big fan of Nightwing. And it's giving me like Wizard Nightwing vibes, which I like.
I can see. I think you may have said that before too, but
I may have. I don't. We have no recollection of anything we've ever said. Apparently, I feel like we repeat things every other week.
We do, and part of it is we have bad memory, and part of it is there's like a lot of the same stuff happening. So we're commenting on it. The tadpoles are getting away, and then I do like though that Genji and Solaris Knight is like, we better go help them, and Solaris is like, no, if we don't take care of that tadpoles, it doesn't matter if they win. So like they fight their fight, we got to go burn these out. And I'm like, that's true. That's perfect. Yep. Yes, that is strategy. Good job.
Yeah. Necroli being a nuisance per usual. And then
I just forgot. This is where they make the evil rangers.
Oh yeah.
This I found disappointing.
Yes.
I'll tell you why. They were not different enough. They weren't exact copies where it's like, what's going on? And I can't tell who's who. And they didn't do that. All they did was put a black like thing on their neck. What I would have liked is make everything that was white black. like the pants, everything, or like the inside of the cape's black, like make a whole different thing, which I'd like want a figure of, or maybe just something differentiate them more, or make it so that like they've infiltrated and they can't tell who's who. But it was just obvious they knew who was good and bad, but it wasn't super interesting to me.
It also just felt very shoehorned in, where it's like these clones have no personality. You have to fight them, and you already have a strategy of not really fighting your own to defeat them.
Right.
Like they fought their own a little bit, and then they're like, I know how we beat them. We have to do things together.
Well, but also for some reason they turned into dice, which I feel like is Sentai stuff, because it's like, what? Why are they dice?
Gamblers be gambling.
Well, I guess, yeah, but they didn't explain it very well. Like, yeah. And so then, then there's the big frog. I forgot one of the impersonators turns into a frog. There's definitely Sentai craziness going on here, which doesn't, was not properly explained in the English version. But I do like that she powers up and is like, okay,
mid, which was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a cool thing. So this is the first time we've seen it. They didn't bring it up that they could ever do it before, but they bring it up now. If the other Rangers do like a mode 2, they could turn their staff into a unique weapon to them. That would have been really cool to have, earlier in the season at some point. It does
also show Chip basically taking out all of the evil Rangers by himself except for one. And both of them do a really good job. And it's one of those, it's that inconsistent power scaling where, like you said, here's an ability we didn't know he had, but also like, it's just a little inconsistent. This
very MacGuffin-y.
This whole thing was a little weird. I mean, Power Rangers is MacGuffin-y, but it's just, this is a very mediocre episode.
This is what we need the whole episode to be.
The Lily stuff is the most compelling to me.
No, it's the Henry Danger movie where he returns. That's what we need the whole episode to be. That's one thing that I noticed is like anytime I'm rooting for that B plot to take over most of the episode, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. I will say it's not boring bad, which is a worse crime. Like it's sort of silly, ridiculous. Like I'm not bored. So like I would give this episode probably like a C+, because the B plot I cared about and the main plot is kind of all over the place, but it is forwarding the plot somewhat. And it's silly and weird enough that it's keeping my attention. So I'd give it a C+ overall.
I'd probably say about a C, because like some of it felt rushed, some of it felt dragged, and other stuff it's like kind of like my big complaints with Lily. It's like, why are you guys so mean to her? Like, I don't know why that's an overarching plot we keep going back to.
Right, but that's balanced out by this whole scene with her and Phineas and the team up that is forthcoming.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Phineas drifts in a lot and kind of drops some wisdom or says something and then disappears. But it's like, well, I'm going to stick around. Like he's actually going to do something. They're going to like go on a mission. So I'm excited to see what he does.
I don't like that how goofy and random he is. He is one of the most consistent and well-rounded characters in the show for people that we're supposed to root for as protagonists. And here's the goofy physical and verbal comic relief that like is actually, doing stuff.
I agree. Although often I think the comic relief is they're good characters.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying like the fact that we're so excited to see him, and it's like, here are the Rangers again.
I have fought you on the sort of negative / inconsistent personalities of the Rangers throughout the season. But at this point, I have to concede because we're 5 episodes from the end. At this point, they should be the Rangers. Like a lot of seasons, they're learning to be Rangers. At this point, they're the Rangers. This is the Rangers they're going to be. This is their best selves. Now, yes, in 2 episodes, Nick might go, oh, by the way, I should have believed. But like, okay, right at the end, like, they shouldn't be this inconsistent. And at this point, I agree. And there's Daggeron burning everything. Oh, that's the gold I'm talking about. And I probably mentioned that before too. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, it looks so cool. Yeah, super shiny and everything. Those modes are growing on me.
Yeah, me too.
But other than that, the subplot of Madonna getting captured, I get it. Obviously, it has to tie into the Sentai. I don't love her again going out willy-nilly without powers. Like, it's one thing. This is a weird kind of side tangent, but whenever I think of plots like this, I think of 2 things in comics that I saw, and it was one where Johnny Blaze isn't Ghost Rider anymore, and he still goes on adventures, but he has like other mystical gear. And then I think of
the Hellfire Shotgun. I think
yes, he does. Good memory. And then when Captain America like aged up really quick and his super soldier serum wore off for whatever reason, and he's still like, goes man in the vein and, does come in.
Yeah.
Like, people do that stuff. She's like, no, I'm just going to still go out into the most dangerous arena we've had.
Oh, so you're saying not like those idiots did too. You're saying they realized they were different and found ways to work within their new limitations, where she's just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're right.
Like, if she went on this quest and they're like, but you have no powers anymore. She's like, but I have my wits and I have this bag of artifacts and potions and a spell book and all this stuff. She's just like, no, I'm just going to figure it out. I need to find
I
them.
would have even accepted, what's her comic relief apprentice? What's her name? Claire.
Claire, yes.
If she said, I don't have any power, Claire, but you do. And I could mentor you, and I'll help you, but you're gonna be running the show. That would have solved.
I'll help you find your full potential while we find Liambo or whatever.
That would have solved both their problems. But speaking of Claire, she's like, what are you doing here, Lily? You're evil. And it's like, oh, look, this is the team up. This is the dream team right here. This is the Power Rangers that I want to see. Is these three, right? That's a great feature. Yeah.
This is another one of those things. I know this doesn't happen for seasons beyond, but if it's like, hey, if you guys were going to make some American only Rangers, I mean, I'm rooting for these ones right here.
Yeah, you got them ready.
Some color swaps on some of those suits. Maybe do it for an episode and call it a day. Sell some toys.
Meanwhile, back down below, there's Korag. They found where he is, and they're like, give us the master. But we cut back up. There's the Manticore Megazord. And this, I forgot this happened because I'm like, how did this end? And I don't remember because it's a part one. Yeah. Because they're fighting him, and he kind of blows up. But he doesn't get defeated. He sort of does this thing where he cuts open because they're in his dimension, and he cuts open a hole and jumps through it. And I do like this ending. This is a very dramatic ending where they're like, can I hold it open? And we don't know if they're going to be able to or not. And that is a good cliffhanger ending, especially for when it was airing on broadcast TV for kids. I think that's a good end.
I agree. I'm excited to see the next episode. I'm assuming that it closed on them and then they got to find a way out, and that'll be cool. Hopefully it's not
Wouldn't it be amazing if they're just like, oh, we managed to open it.
Hey, we snuck through, but Udana's still trapped.
Yeah. I like this episode. Okay. This episode is emblematic, I think, of the season for me, where there's good, there's bad. It's not boring. It's not the worst season. But yeah, Nick is, I mean, I'm not known as being a Red Ranger fanboy, even though I have a couple favorite Rangers that are Red Rangers, but Nick is definitely, I'm not sure where Mystic Force falls for me, but Nick is definitely low on the Red Ranger list.
He just doesn't feel like one. He feels like, again, like every time we see him, it's like, oh, it's the new guy, but the whole season.
Yes, and that's to your point. I defended it a lot in the beginning because it's new, but it's like we're at the end of the season. It should be clicking by now. Yeah, should be clicking. We got 5 episodes left, 4 episodes left,
something like that. I can check really quick. Yeah. We have 4
episodes left. All right. Well, this is a 2-parter, and then we got, I guess.
And then we have 1 episode, and then we have another 2-parter.
All right. Well, here we go. This is it. If it's gonna win us over, it's gonna be now. But I think Big Dog, it's like near your bottom, but maybe the finale can move it up closer to middle. And for me, I'm in middle. Am I gonna go down or up?
Out of everything we've reviewed, this is definitely my least favorite.
Well, let's see. What did we review? We reviewed Beast Morphers
1 and 2,
SPD, Jungle
Dino
Fury,
and Cosmic.
Yeah.
We haven't reviewed Jungle Fury, but we both love Jungle Fury.
Did I say Jungle Fury?
Yes.
Oh, I meant to say Cosmic. Yeah. Okay. So out of the things we've reviewed, I agree this is the worst.
Yeah.
Out of the seasons I've seen, it's not the worst.
Is there one in between Beast Morphers and Cosmic or in Dino Fury I'm forgetting? No. Ninja Steel. We didn't review all. No, that was before.
Ninja Steel came before. We watched the episode with the Space Sheriff because we were just watching crossover episodes. So we watched that one. But no, Ninja Steel came before Beast Morphers.
Ninja Steel is like, I would argue this is better than what I saw of Ninja Steel because I didn't even finish Ninja Steel. That's how much I didn't. But like, they're bumping shoulders.
I again, before giving any definitive thing, I always want to like revisit, but my knee jerk is always that Ninja Steel is the worst of all.
Versus Mega Force and Super Mega?
Yeah.
You find charm in how bad some of the parts are.
Yeah, and there's some of the characters are more likable. And Robo Knight, I like Robo Knight, and some of it is just like Sentai, like Super Mega Force, like what's happening? I don't know, but there's some cool Sentai footage they use, and like Ninja Steel had some good stuff, mostly Kelson, mostly Mick, but there was the school stuff was just terrible, and it just I don't know, it's been a couple years since I watched it, and I've seen other stuff since, like, so this isn't like a definitive, it 100% absolutely is, but I if you said to me right now, what is my least favorite? That is my least favorite.
Yeah.
And I would, if right now you said, what do you want to watch out of those three? I'd probably say Megaforce would be the one I'd want to watch out of the three, because it made more sense than Super Megaforce, even though Super Megaforce had like cool cameos and stuff. Like out of the three, that's the one, and it had Robo Knight, who I like. So like that, that's kind of, I'm not arguing that that's good. I'm not even saying it's better than Super Mega Force. I'm just saying, like, for me, if I had to watch one of those three, that would be the one.
Yeah.
And I think, those. But
here we are. That's where kind of a summary of where we are with Mystic Force. We're like, when we're comparing what we like less, it's not a great sign.
Yeah, and I think that was the math. I was always saying, like, well, there's no way it's in like the lower half or whatever. But you're like, what's worse than like do the and I haven't done the math, but it's like I can only think of like 4 off the top of my head that are definitely worse. And it's like, well, there's been like 30, so that does put it, in the bottom. So, but until next time, when we talk about the fourth, the final episode, I've been Gazbot.
I am the big dog who just got a huge Ninja Steel point from Gazbot retroactively for that.
For me, acknowledging that
you're like, well, hang on, I don't know if it's the bottom half. It's probably the top half.
Well, mathematically, you're correct. It just feels wrong.
And to the power. I just spilled water all over myself.
No!
See you guys later. My wrapped around my...
Is your computer wet? What got wet?
No, me. I got wet in my floor.
Well, you're not. Are you a witch? Are you a wicked witch?
I'm a nice witch.
Okay, you'll probably be okay.
You know what's funny? Because now we're in the end credits. Anything goes. I started the day by dropping my phone in a clean toilet.
Oh, even a clean toilet's not a place you want your phone to be.
Don't worry. It was only right before 7 a.m. when everybody's just their freshest.
Good time to start.
Yeah. But God, that's what a funny way to end the day. You could clip that, by the way.
I maybe will. That'll be the short, no context. All right. See you next week, everybody.
Later.